Now this car already has an aftermarket camshaft in it. It's actually got the Trick Flow Stage 2 cam, which in reality is a decent camshaft. But we're going to take it up a notch. We're going to step up the cam gain a little bit and install one of our Anderson camshafts. This particular grind is the Anderson B31HR camshaft, which will be a great cam for the power level and the linear power band this thing should make. We're also going to be dropping on a set of our valve springs, our high rev valve springs. That will be a drop-on upgrade for these twisted wedge heads. Power band on this thing should be very nice in the mid-range to higher RPM level, and it'll still clear stock pistons with a 1/6 ratio rocker. You know which one goes where?
Does this one plug? Is there another one?
Yeah, they're just spade connectors.
Let it sit over the beginning.
Oh yeah.
I know. I try to be less shade free as possible, essentially just to make it work.
I don't know how that together.
It barely did. I say hopes and dreams. Is, a lot of times that's what these are, is hopes and dreams.
Okay, we can shut that down for now. Let's put this out now.
Those 2 bolts that hold the housing.
Oh, you want to take the entire housing off?
Yeah, because I got to replace the thermostat.
I'll wait on that then, because I'll
Hey!
Yeah, there we go.
Hey! Can't lose this.
Is your oil cylinder?
Fuel pressure. Wow, this, yeah. Look at that. I think that's causing my ignition issue.
Oh yeah, that's coming right on.
A lot of scientific stuff going on right now. Pretty much just disassembling everything to make way for the new cam. So upper intake, we're going to use our Anderson Tappet Tools, so that way we don't have to remove the lower intake. Of course, we have to remove the distributor. We got a new one anyway. Remove the pretty much all the front accessories. We actually don't have to remove the alternator, but we don't have to remove the power steering pump either. Pretty much everything else in here. Jeremy already got the radiator out of the way, so yeah, we're not far from being able to pull the valve covers and start doing the front side. Yeah, we're making good progress.
These ones go to 11.
Oh, okay, we got it. Oh, it's just hitting the rockers.
Yeah.
I'm going to eat this sandwich.
It's gonna crunch the shit out of it, Donnie.
I'm leaving that in there. So, Jeremy, just being candid here, it's 5:52. So we've literally been on this thing for less than an hour, and look how far we are.
We in business.
Yeah.
Until I lost that washer. But whatever, we'll find another one.
Exactly. Probably need a little anti-seize going back in, huh?
Yeah.
I think it'd be in our best interest to lube the crap out of these when they go back on.
A little rusty, crusty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there we go.
Alright, there's Bill water pump. Okay.
Let's
So yeah, get the pulley off and the bouncer off, and then the timing cover can come off, and at that point we're pretty much looking at the timing chain and cam and stuff, so then we can start taking off the rockers and push rods. Alright, we're doing good. So far, I mean, this has been super smooth. I know not everyone is going to go through a situation like this where everything just comes off easy. The water pump bolts, if it's like bone stock, high mileage or whatever, 90% of the time you'll break them unless you like heat them up or, you know, tighten them, then loosen them. But we've been, I mean, everything so far has been pretty straightforward. Wouldn't you say?
Definitely. Definitely.
Cool. Alright, so like Jeremy said, we're going to take off the crank pulley, then the balancer, and then timing cover's coming off. Ooh. A lot of room for activities now. Alright, next is the timing cover itself. And we're getting really close. Alright, real quick, just want to talk about kind of what we did. It seems like we just did a lot of this work really quick, and we did, but take into consideration that, you know, this is a learning period or like discovery period of, you know, what's done with the car and everything. We don't know what condition the bolts are in. Luckily, nothing broke. Everything came out pretty easily, but a lot of the bolts were rusty and definitely have seen better days, so it's stuff we definitely got to clean up when going back together. So just keep that in mind when you're starting to tear stuff apart, because so far so good. Everything's been pretty easy so far, and it does help that, of course, this car's had modifications, so it's all been apart before. You're working on a stock engine, results may vary. So so right now we're going to take off the timing chain, the cam retainer, and then we're going to take off the rockers and the push rods, and I'll show you guys how the Tappet tool works. So yeah, we're going to slap this cam in here before you know it.
Oil's in there?
What's that?
Do you care what oil's in there?
No, it's just as long as it's oil.
There's 550 full synthetic. That sound good?
Sure. Why the hell not? It's party. Alright guys, it's time to use the old Tappet tools here. So as you can see, you're going to run the wing nut all the way to the top. You just drop this down the push rod hole, and this magnet will connect to the lifter, and then you'll use this wing nut as the stop. You're going to want to just pull the lifter up high enough to clear the camshaft. So all you do is just literally drop it down the hole. Whoop. The magnet's pretty strong, it's already getting stuck on the guide plate. Come on, get past it. There we go. And you'll hear it click. Just like that. The passenger side is done. It's kind of hard to explain what you're looking for, but you'll kind of feel the magnet hit the lifter, and at that point you can kind of lift up on it with the bolt itself. Another tech tip you can do is actually spin the camshaft around, and that way you can actually feel the lifter push up against it and then feel when it wants to return back down. So when it's at its peak, that's when you can kind of get all the tension and all the slack in your wing nut pulled up, and then when you spin it around, you don't want to have it at max tension because you don't want these to be at the peak where they're going to fall off, but it'll be pretty close up there. And then you just want it to where it's going to hold the lifter up out of the way so the cam can be cleared out. So I'm going to go ahead and start on the passenger side. Right there you can see the bolt actually move up, and then it's got a little slack there. I'm just going to take up all the slack with the wing nut here and just move it on down to where the wing nut holds it. that's it. Just repeat that. It's a tedious process. Takes a little bit of time, but it's not too bad. Once you get them all done, the cam will be ready to come out.
Gotta love it.
Old came out. Time to slather up the old one, or the new one. Hold it.
I'll start slathering it. We can start slathering on there one of these.
Go, new cam going in. Camshaft is in. Alright, so now just gotta drop the lifters back down into place, and yeah, that's all she wrote. Notice the less exciting stuff, like scraping off old gaskets and cleaning up the areas that you just worked in. Cam went in very successfully. Tappet Tools literally saved us probably a good, taking apart the fuel system and the lower intake manifold. Probably saved us another hour, maybe hour and a half, depending on how fast you can work with everything. But cam is literally in. Of course, we're going to do the valve springs. We'll do that another time though. But so yeah, we're going to go ahead and replace the old thermostat because my thermostat in this car failed, causing my car to spurt coolant everywhere out of the overflow. So we're going to go ahead and replace the thermostat, clean up the housing a little bit and the lower intake portion. And then, yeah, we'll probably call it a night. And then next time you see us, we'll probably start working on the valve springs.
Like that. That looks better.
Alright, I'm super happy with the progress we made. We got the cam swap done, timing chain and everything's in time. It's torqued down, good to go. I threw the valve covers back on there just to cover up the valve train just for now because of course we still got to change valve springs like I mentioned before. So I'm going to go ahead and put the timing cover on and just hold it on with a bolt or something. So that way it's just covered up for now. We don't want any foreign material falling in there while we're away. And of course put the intake manifold on as well. So that way, again, the ports are covered. So super happy with the progress we made and good, successful first night. So I'm going to call it a night for now, but I'm super stoked at the progress we made.